Babies. Babies are one of the source for a lot of discussions and debates on the idea of having babies, not having babies. In this video, we'll be talking about the former, which I think is having babies. I don't really know the difference between former and latter, but I think former is the first one, latter is the second one. I never understood how former can mean the first one in a sequence, but whatever. Uh, I'll be focusing on having babies and what that entails for you as a couple, as an individual, and as a couple. Because it's something I can draw a comparison for. This is the first personal video on my channel. The first fully personal video on my channel. This is where I draw from my experiences. I made a checklist of 3 points that I want to tackle on today, so we'll be tackling them on, and everything else is basically improv on my part. So yeah, make of that what you will, guys and girls. Hopefully both, because I think it's important. Of course, most of this video, as a disclaimer, will be presented from my perspective as a male spouse in a traditional relationship, but I think it can be translated into other situations, I guess, in my personal opinion. Now, when we talk about babies, in this video, we won't be talking about making babies. I hope that you know how babies are made. Otherwise, leave it out in the comments. I can make a separate video on that. I can explain the topic very well. I can even draw some pictures if you want. I cannot draw, but it would be like stick figures making a baby. So, right, let's get into it. What does a baby entail? Uh, when deciding to make a baby, there's a few checkstones or checkboxes that you need to tick. So, first of all, you need to see if you're secure financially, emotionally, in every way possible, because a baby needs a haven to grow in, right? Don't make babies just for the sake of making babies. For example, me and my wife decided to have a baby when we already bought a house, we were financially somewhat stable, we didn't have a dependency on anybody else other than ourselves for supporting us, right? Emotionally, we were stable. The relationship was steady as fuck. We were together for I think 7 years at that time. Yeah, 7 years. So this is what making a baby should have as a prerequisite, right? They need stability, right? The stability was the word. Man, I'm fumbling words today. But basically, a baby needs stability, and it needs stability so fucking bad. Because at the end of the day, you'll be bringing a new life into this world, a life that you are responsible for. Nobody else is responsible for the baby. Yes, you may get help. We get help from my in-laws, for example, from my parents sometimes. But at the end of the day, you are responsible for the baby. So making sure he or she thrives in a stable environment surrounded by love, affection, and stability all around. I'm repeating myself, but you get the point. It's emphasizing. It's not repeating, it's emphasizing. That is your responsibility to offer. You need to offer him, everything from food to affection to playtime to just knowing you're there, just having a nice, cozy roof above their head, and every condition possible, at least the bare minimum. And the bare minimum isn't like a crappy shackle in the middle of the woods. It's a decent home, a clean home, because that's the most important shit. Medical safety. Babies get sick a lot and can get sick a lot. Mine didn't. So our baby barely never got sick. I think his first cold was actually when he turned 1 year old. Until then, nothing. But most babies get sick because they don't have an immune system. They're taking all of their immunity from the breast milk. So, and the breast milk actually offers them protection from certain diseases, and at the same time it kind of jumpstarts their own immune system. Starting out, they don't have an immune system, and if faced with something that the breast milk cannot offer protection against, because breast milk isn't like that super shield you use in video games or whatever that protects you from anything. No, breast milk helps against certain afflictions, but not it's not an all-time solution, all solution pill or anything like that. It really needs to be helped by you keeping the baby safe. Right. I think this is the minimum prerequisites, and you need to have a healthy, stable relationship. Every emotion you feel, every argument you might have, every state of mind you are in, it's transmittable to the baby. The babies can get that from you. And it's imperative that you offer them comfort, that you offer them warmth instead of coldness, instead of anger. Because at the end of the day, these are, so the first years in a baby's lives are crucial for his or her development. Or her development, not hers. What the English. English is hard for me apparently. But this is what you have to offer. You have to offer a calm state of mind, a warm state of mind. They need to feel only positive emotions. When you feel it negativity, when you feel it desperation, when you feel it anger, that's what it draws from you, and that's rather in which direction it will be affected growing up. And you don't want that. Trust me, you don't want to bring more depression into the world. You don't want to bring more sadness, anger, whatever into the world. Focus on positivity. Focus on warmth. Focus on transmitting only positive emotions to a child or a baby rather, not a child, a baby. Because this in the formative years, this is the direction you want it to grow into. Let me know in the comments if that didn't make sense because I can explain it further. I want to keep this video short as short as possible, people, because then again, I don't think anybody wants to hear degenerate rambling for 30 minutes about babies. So let's just keep it short. It's more of a shorter video, like only presenting these things and speaking a little bit about everything, but not very in deep. If you want that, then of course I can provide. Just leave it out in the comments, and we can talk more about certain items on this. Is because each item that I'm gonna talk about warrants at least a 30-minute discussion, just to encompass all of it. Right now we're just delving, scratching the surface a little bit, and talking about certain things very casually and very briefly. Right. So this is the preparedness part. That's what I wrote here. Preparedness. This is the preparedness part. This is when you think you can have, or rather you should have a child, when you can provide these things to it. Now, bear in mind that I didn't write this down, but it's improv, man. Keep in mind that pregnancy is no easy feat. For some women, it is. It is super easy. They can go on vacations, they can go on trips, they can do anything they can do when not pregnant. Others, like in our case, are very hard pregnancies, very tough pregnancies, where the woman's body is feeling a lot more exhausted, feeling a lot more pressure from growing the baby in the womb. Some might require injections. There are certain anticoagulants, I think. No, they're correct. Coagulants. They're coagulants, actually, for certain blood diseases that births out clots, and it's basically injections every single day. There is this type of pregnancy that is more prevalent from what I've seen in recent times. Maybe because of our diet, maybe because of the chemicals in the air, in the food, everywhere. And it's harder for a body to just have a baby in the womb. But it is manageable. And it is, even if it's manageable, right? Because you have medications, you have good doctors now, you have access to doctors. It's imperative and highly important that you as a partner are there for her, no, her, only girls can get pregnant. Pro tip, pro tip. Only women can get pregnant. Pro tip there. I know you wouldn't have guessed, right? Then again, it's important for you as a partner to stay there, whether you be a woman or a man. It's imperative you stay close to your spouse. You support her in every direction possible and in every way possible. If she is sick, you're standing by her, helping her through the sickness. If she is fatigued, you let her rest, you help her rest. You help her get over the fatigueness. So what we draw from that is that at the end of the day, it is a two people's job. It's not only on the pregnant person to finish that or to involve themselves into that. Both of you need to be as involved as possible and help each other through the hardship, because pregnancy is not no small feat. You're basically growing a little you inside the womb. It's no easy feat. It can never be an easy feat. Anybody who says that's easy, they're a liar. It can be easier for some people, yes, but that doesn't mean it's a general rule. As a general rule, it is somewhat hard, and it's imperative that you are there for your significant other. Otherwise, in my opinion, I mean, you're there either emotionally, physically, however much you can, and however much you should. Because there are people that cannot be there because they're overseas working for their family and all that, and that's acceptable. Yes, fine. But if you just disregard your significant other and don't care about the pregnancy and you're like, oh, you take care of the pregnancy, I don't care about that shit. Let me know when it's due time, then yes, you are a piece of shit. And somebody needs to tell you that. Support is vital in a relationship, and respect is vital in a relationship, and uh, so much so during this pregnancy period. Right. Next item I was wanting to have. So this is after the birth. If you want, we can make videos talking about each step of having a baby and talk about it more in depth because there's a lot. There's a lot to cover. Right. Next is after your spouse has given birth, there is a transitional period. So the transitional period usually stems from the fact that your whole world, or rather your whole routine, just abruptly changes, like at once. There's also the postpartum depression that installs in women after giving birth. Again, not a general rule, but in most cases it happens. And again, it's your job as a spouse to help her through that. Otherwise, again, you are a piece of shit. If you don't want to. If you want to but cannot because of reasons that are beyond your control, then yes, fine. That's okay. That's fine. As long as you've tried your best to be there for her. What you need to have then is patience. Patience with the child because the child, the baby, will be getting up every 2 or 3 hours to feed, and it will not be able to do anything but cry. And feeding at that age usually takes about half an hour. So it's feeding, it's burping. They need to burp to eliminate gas. Otherwise, it builds up and affects their tummy. Not in a bad sense, in the sense that they will get stomach aches and they will cry a lot, and they won't sleep because of that. So actually, it affects them. Rather, I misspoke there. So after burping, you will also have their um, their physical needs. Yeah, after every meal when they are very young, until 2 or 3 months, if I remember correctly. I don't know. It's been 2 years since then, and I've blanked. For example, what I did during that time was so during the day, my wife would actually do the feedings with my help if she needed it. And during the nights, I will do the feedings and I will wake up for the baby and all that so that she has at least a few hours of sleep because sleep is so huge. It's super undervalued and she needs sleep to be able to function. So I was saying that, okay, I'll wake up during the nights. It's all right for me. I woke up, I just fed the baby and then put it on my shoulder just to burp. Afterwards, I'll be waiting for like 5 to 10 minutes. Watching a series. I was watching the anime on Netflix with the gangster turned housewife, house husband. I don't know, Way of the Household. That's what's its name. I recommend you. It's amazing, especially for these cases. So 5 10 minutes to just make his. I have a baby, boy, so that's why I use his. Make its physical needs to do the deuces, as they say. Then change diapers, and that's about it. So, and the feeding itself usually took about 10 to 15 minutes, depending on uh, his mood, because his mood was important. If he was lazy, then yep, it took about 20 to 25 minutes. If he was really hungry, then 5 minutes was enough. And you need patience to go through that because you have to understand that it's a baby. It cannot know things. It cannot understand things. It's your job to provide everything it needs. It will only need know how to cry, and that's it. And cry and basically eat and physical needs, but that's about it. Other he or it doesn't do anything else. Maybe sometimes he just does that with his arms, but that's about it. At least when you're in the baby stage, and your wife will need all the support, or your wife, girlfriend, your significant other will need all the support she can get. Because at the end of the day, if you're breastfeeding, her milk needs to be. This sounds very strange, but it is true. Her milk needs to be very good quality wise, so it can actually nurture the baby. And for that, she needs rest. And it's your job in that rest time to take care of the baby, just to let her rest for Christ's sake, because she deserves it. She spent 9 months for your baby, with a baby inside her stomach, doing God knows what. In her stomach. It's a misconception. It's not in her stomach, in her womb. Doing God knows what. And you cannot even uh, help her through that, help her get some rest after all that, then yes, you're a piece of shit. Next up, we of course have involvement, but we've been talking involvement throughout the whole video, so I don't think that's necessary to expand upon. But basically, the bottom line is yes, you need to be as involved as possible as the other spouse. And what you don't need to forget is showing affection to your significant other even after giving birth. She will require all the affection you can give her, and you should be giving her because you love her, right? I mean, that's the whole point of creating a family, loving each other. And you don't need to, you need not only to love her, but to show her that because she will be needing it. After going through that whole experience, she'll be needing all the affection you can give her. And please, God, please shower her in affection. God knows she deserves it. So please do that because otherwise, she'll be feeling lonely, I guess. It usually is the story. Because the thing is, usually men don't do that. Don't show affection, don't show emotion, even after such an experience, and only focus towards the baby, which is fine and understandable, right? I mean, it's understandable, not really fine. You need to focus on your spouse as well as the baby. They both deserve it, and they both need it a lot. And you need to provide both of them with the appropriate amount of affection and love. And show it to them. Don't just, I mean, I'm sure you love them. So clearly you love them, but show that to them because they have no way of knowing that. And after giving birth, after needing that support, it becomes harder to discern that only from your facts. You need to show it. And the last part of it, of having a baby, is the demand. So you might think that in the beginning it's hard. It's not. It's the easiest part of actually having a baby and caring for a baby. The hardest parts come from when he learns to walk or it learns to walk. Then it becomes exponentially harder to keep up because they have a lot of energy. I don't know where they get their energy from, what Dark Lord has given them so much energy, but they have tons of it. And you don't because you're grown up. You don't have that amount of energy. It's insane how they can run throughout the whole day, basically. Run, 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 sleep. Run, 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 sleep. That's it. And you have to keep up. And it's hard as fuck to keep up with that level of energy because they want to play non-stop. Non-stop explore, play, see things, go things. And don't be one of those parents, please, pretty please, that just puts a screen in front of their kid for the whole day. Yes, you might give it some TV time. Mine, for example, was given cartoons and music to watch and listen to, and it does that, but only for I don't know, 10 to 15 minutes. Sometimes he steals a phone and stays on it, but that's again 10, 15 minutes. Then bored. Let's play. That also helps. We really did so. We went for not interdicting anything, but rather it's not interdiction. It's limiting access. So he has access to cartoons, but only at certain points in a day, and only for a small amount of time. Other than that, he's just playing, trying to play puzzles basically, but it's not really puzzles. You you'll know what I mean by sticking figures in certain slots that you should be sticking figures in. These are puzzles at this age, and yeah, it's interesting just to teach the baby to do that because yeah, you can see it after an amount of time you see that he understands anything. So everything he understands. He doesn't want to do what you say. What you tell him to do, he doesn't want to. He understands, so you can see he understands because sometimes he will do what you ask of him and what you tell him, he will do it, but only when he wants or it wants. Babies are manipulators. Babies are master manipulators. Beware of that. Don't assume they're innocent and they're cute and they don't try to fuck you over. No, they'll fuck you over hard. If they sense weakness, they will prey on that hard as fuck. Trust me. Trust me with that. I haven't seen a baby yet that doesn't do that. If they sense weakness, they prey on that so fucking hard. At the end of the day, babies, the fulfillment you get from them when you hear them say daddy for the first time, when you hear them say mommy for the first time, when they finally turn from a baby that doesn't do much to a baby that actually interacts with you, looks at you with such love that you don't think it's possible, to such a degree of love that you don't think it's possible. They talk to you, they hug you, they bury their faces in your chest and in your leg and everywhere across your. It's just beautiful. When at night they just wake up and caress you while you're sleeping or while you're trying to fall asleep. It's honestly everything is worth it and more. So um, it's not even a matter of worth it or not. It's at the end of the day, parenting and having a kid is um, the most fulfilling experience that I've ever felt. And honestly, there's nothing in this earth that even compares to that. At least for me, it isn't. It's just, and my wife is on the same page on that one. We just talked about it the other day, and we were like, who would have imagined that actually having a baby would melt our hearts so badly? Because at the end of the day, when when the baby, the toddler, it's a toddler now, smiles at us, it just it just melts our hearts. And it's just a one smile, and it melts our hearts. We are so over the hills with him, and I think that's the weakness he sensed, and he's exploiting the fuck out of it, the shit out of it. Let's switch the swear, the curse a little bit, the cuss. But yeah, it's as a conclusion, it is hard. Don't get me wrong, it is hard. It is hard, but I don't know, it's not that type of hardship that you cannot face or cannot get through. It's manageable and you can get through it with patience, love for one another, and I don't know, just calmness. But in the end, the rewards and feelings you get from it, I think are one of a kind. I don't think there's anything that it can give you this amount of fulfillment and love and wholesomeness. There's literally nothing. It's one of those things that you have to experience to understand because before that I didn't understand it either. And I thought that, like, oh, okay, I have a kid, we'll be playing, we'll be having fun together. I love him, of course, or her. We love it, of course. We're gonna just do everything for it. But then the reality hit, and it was so much more than we were expecting. Like it's it's wonderful. It's wonderful, and it's worth it and more. It's I cannot describe it in words. So thank you everybody for joining and listening to this old bastard just rambling about babies and parenthood and all that shit. If you want more information on any topic regarding parenthood, feel free to leave a comment. Maybe I'll make a video out of certain specific topics, that's totally fine because, again, most topics here warrant a longer discussion. This is just scratching the surface a little bit, speaking from experience, delving into some personal things. And yep, I think that's about it. See everybody, love you. Leave a comment. Leave a comment. What did you like about this video? What do you want to learn more about from this video? See everybody.